Here's the reality. In Aotearoa, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 8 men will be sexually assaulted in their lifetime. That harm doesn't start with monsters in dark alleys. It starts in the everyday stuff we don't always notice. It starts with how we joke, how we judge. It lives in the shame we place on things that aren't shameful. It's in the small ways we're told to silence ourselves, to stay small, to harden up, to hide our tenderness. For a long time, we tried to fix this with rules. We said no means no. But rules fall short. A person can say no with their body by freezing up, turning away, or going silent. And because they didn't speak the word, that no gets missed or ignored. So the rule changed to get a yes. But even that can be twisted. For some people, getting a yes becomes a mission. They nag, they pressure, or they wear someone down just to get the win. They might think they followed the rules, but a yes that you have to beg or bully someone for isn't real consent. That's why we need more than rules. We need strong whānau connections, and we need a moral compass. Another thing is, we have a blind spot. We've been raised on stranger danger. Most of us picture someone creepy or someone a bit off. But the stats tell a different story. Most abuse isn't from strangers. It's from people we know, people we trust, respect, and love. That trust is actually their strategy. They use likability to get close, and they use shame and confusion to keep people quiet. It's a tough spot for us. We're told to be vigilant, but if the people we're meant to watch out for look and sound just like us, we can't always spot them. So that means it can't just be about keeping an eye out. It's also about the little everyday things that make our whānau and communities safer, stronger, and thriving. So that's what Little Matters is all about. So what are Little Matters? They're the everyday codes, tikanga, practices, and rituals we do. Heaps of families already have them. We've got 10 examples. They're backed by expert advice, but they're by no means the only ones. The Little Matters are all about clarity, respect, and connection. Clarity is about removing the confusion and shame that gives abuse places to hide. Respect is our compass for how we treat others and expect to be treated. Connection is knowing our kids can come to us and that their voice matters. Here's what Little Matters could look like in practice. People who sexually abuse rely on secrecy. That's how they isolate kids and keep adults in the dark. So some families are closing off those hiding places by making no secrets a family code. Some use birthdays to learn. A surprise is fun. Everyone finds out eventually and gets happy. But a secret, that's something someone tells you to keep hidden. It's such a small thing, but it helps kids feel when something's off. And having a loud no secrets policy sends a clear message to everyone around. People who sexually abuse often use confusion and shame about bodies to keep kids quiet. Kids can get mixed up, or they might not have the right words to tell someone if something's wrong. Confidence from adults matters too, because kids are experts at reading body language. If we whisper or do that little awkward laugh when we talk about sex or body parts, they pick up on that instantly. They start thinking, those words and those parts are shameful. So lots of parents now just use the correct names for body parts in whatever language they speak at home or in their community. In English, that means saying penis, vulva, or anus the same way you'd say elbow or nose. Sure, it can feel weird the first couple of times, but it gets normal real fast. The benefit that these parents are seeing is when everyone's on the same page, family, teachers, doctors, daycare, church, marae, it makes it so much easier for kids to be understood if something's wrong because there's a shared language and it's harder for anyone to twist their words. Use real words is really just about being clear, confident, and showing our kids that bodies aren't embarrassing, they're normal. As adults, we're in two minds when our kids ask questions about sex and bodies. Are they old enough? But if they're asking, they're ready for some info. And if it doesn't come from a mum or a dad, it'll come from somewhere else, whether it's the playground, older cousins, or a song they hear. A parent we spoke to told us they waited for the right time, finally sat down for the talk, and got, I already know, Lucy at school told me. And that's why lots of parents these days are going with the honest answers approach. It's not a big sit down. It's matching what you say to their age, keeping it simple and telling the truth. No weird euphemisms, no birds and the bees, not just because it confuses them, but because we want our kids to know we are where they get the truth. Finding out from Lucy that your parents fudged it can put a dent in that. Those small, everyday chats in the car, while you're cooking or walking the dog, can build trust. You stay the person they come to when something's confusing or embarrassing, and that's gold, because it means you're still their person when things get trickier as they grow. Tapu is a Māori word that all of us in Aotearoa can use. Every person's body is tapu, sacred, precious, worthy of care. Some people find that giving that sacredness a name helps kids understand it, value it, and protect it, both in themselves and in others. Families will often talk about how certain parts of the body are extra tapu, not for anyone else to touch. It's a way of making boundaries clear without fear or shame. Tapu is why we don't touch another person in ways that feel wrong, and why no one should touch us that way either. When parents talk about tapu, they often say it helps put words to something kids already sense. It gives them a way to speak up when something crosses a line, and it reminds everyone, adults too, that we don't mess with anyone else's tapu. So protect tapu in this context is about care and limits, not danger. Everyone has mana. We're born with it. Mana tuku iho. The power and authority we inherit from our ancestors. But we also grow it over our lifetime, mana whakatupu, through our deeds and how we treat people. There is no perfect English word for mana. It goes way beyond just respect. It's your standing, your influence, your right to be yourself. When we understand mana, it becomes a compass for our relationships. It guides how we treat others and the standards we set for ourselves. All people have their own mana, including kids. So, parents are looking for ways to help kids know it, feel it, and value it. That can look like giving them a real say over their own body, who they hug, what they wear, whether a photo gets taken or posted. When kids feel their mana is being recognised, they start protecting it, and they notice that other people have mana too. It teaches them standing tall doesn't mean standing over someone. It teaches them that protecting your mana means respecting other people's mana too. It adds a layer beyond the rules. It turns the question from, did I get a yes, to am I upholding their mana and mine? It reminds us to slow down, to really listen, to make it okay to say yes or no, and okay to hear it. These days, for a lot of us adults and almost every kid, online and offline are the same life. The feelings, the friendships, wins, and the fallouts are real in both. We sometimes say online isn't real because we see the filtered highlights reels. But the impact is real. The pressure, the comments, the bullying, it all travels from big global influencers right down to a playground in a small town in Aotearoa, New Zealand. So, a simple standard families are using is treat people online the same way you would in person. Speak kindly. Don't post what you wouldn't say to someone's face. And if a random tries to chat, loop us in. It's not just about settings and rules. If kids think raising an issue means they'll get banned from the internet, they'll hide it. So parents are saying, if something feels off, tell us. You won't be in trouble, we'll sort it together. And finally, remember, there's good stuff on there too. Parents are taking genuine interest in what their kids are watching or playing, having chats about it, making it something they can share, rather than just something they police. Online Israel is about having respect for the online space, the same way as we respect the ocean. There's so much good there, but also dangers, and how we behave has a real impact. Kids ask a lot of questions, and it can be bloody annoying at times. But when they stop asking, that's the worry. That's why parents are making a point of not just answering, but actually stopping what they're doing, looking up, and really listening. It helps kids learn their voice matters and they've come to the right person. Build that early, and it tends to hold through to the teen years. They keep coming back with the trickiest stuff, because they always have. But obviously, we can't always chat right then. So a tip some parents share is to have a shorthand code, a phrase that means we can't do questions right now, but we'll come back to it later. It helps keep the trust intact. It shows kids that the timing's not quite right, but it's not a shutdown and their voice still matters. And ultimately, when kids feel heard, it shapes what they seek in relationships later on. They look for partners who value their voice and they offer that same respect in return. Many parents are normalizing accountability at home. They're making a show of it in front of their kids, saying things like, I made a mistake, I was wrong, that's on me, I'm sorry, I'll do better. Whether that's with their kids or with their partner in front of their kids. By doing this, the kids see that being wrong doesn't make you bad. It just means you've got something to put right. And it's a totally normal part of improving ourselves. It builds responsibility instead of defensiveness. And it helps us thrive as individuals, as families, and in our relationships. Feelings are useful. They're our body's way of telling us what's going on inside. When kids can name them, happy, proud, nervous, angry, they get better at spotting what's okay and what isn't. But for a long time, we've boxed people in. Boys get told to be tough, not tender. Girls get told to quiet down or not to be too much. That doesn't make the feeling disappear. It pushes it underground, and bottled emotion can harden into control, aggression, or silence. So that's why lots of families are now making feelings normal, naming them in the moment. You look frustrated, or that must have been scary. And they are making it clear that everyone gets all the feelings. These aren't just boy feelings or girl feelings. Being able to show and manage feelings builds empathy. It stops pressure from boiling over into harm, and it helps kids grow into adults who connect easily and treat people well. A lot of parents are finding that trust, learning, and protection happen in small, ordinary moments. It takes the pressure off. Sometimes it's having chickens, but keeping them casual, in the car, on a walk, or while doing art or dinner. It could be the ritual safety briefing at the door. Remember, no secrets, you can always ring us. Or the chat in the car afterwards. Who was there? What did you do? Other times, it's spotting openings. That means staying tuned for cues, like a question, a throwaway comment, or an awkward laugh at a movie scene. Or it's something they noticed when you're out in public. When chats about feelings, friends, or bodies are woven into daily life, they never become big awkward talks. They become part of the family rhythm, and that rhythm travels into teenhood, adulthood, and how they'll connect with their own kids. So, there you have it, 10 examples of little matters. At their heart, they are tools to build those three big things: clarity, respect, connection. But there is one final thing that makes them powerful. We have to share them. Whether it's these 10 or other little matters, talk about them. Be proud of them. Post them on your socials. Stick them on your fridge. Because not only do we learn from each other, we send a clear message to everyone. Whether they are close family or strangers, we're saying we are this kind of family. We're connected. We're watching. We talk. And sending that signal is one of the biggest ways Little Matters protects us. Ultimately, this is about keeping our kids safe right now. It's about building thriving whānau. And it's about raising a future generation of teens and adults who treat people right. That's how we create a society free of child sexual abuse. Little by little, because little matters.